So we have this Supreme Leatherman, and it looks pretty cool. And it comes with this leather case that attaches to your belt. It's a nice case, but I think we can do better. I think I want the case to be a little less red and have a little more detail. So I got some of this classic elephant print. So let's see what we can make out of it. We could make a molded case like this using water, but I think I want to make it straight cut so that we can have little ports in the bottom so you can see the red, because there's not going to be a lot of red in this case. And then it'll also make it easier for you to make at home. So we're just going to start by cutting a strip that's 1.5 inches wide. The case is going to wrap around the Leatherman like this. And then on the sides, we're going to do a gusset so that you can see the ends of the knife poking through to give a little bit of red hint. And we're going to do that in this black leather. But first, we have to install some of the hardware before we put the lining on so that it won't scratch the knife. The stock one goes on your belt, so we can use that if we want to put it on our belt. This one we're going to make on one of our new signature key rings so that you can hang it off a bag. We're going to use Angelus jet black leather dye to dye the edges before we rivet it to the body. Now that we have everything riveted to the back, I'm going to glue in this black liner so that none of the metal scratches the Leatherman. We're going to bend this as we glue it so that the case holds its shape once it's put together. So we're going to go like that, and then we're going to glue around like that. And then we're going to glue around like that. And that way, as you can see, it's already kind of in the shape that we need. And it stays like that forever. Now we can trim off all the excess leather. Before we add the sides to this and stitch it all together, we need to just stitch the top because we won't be able to do that once it's all sewn together. So I'm going to dye the edges and then we're going to stitch it. We're going to use red Ritza tiger thread to sew up this project. Now we have to cut the leather for the sides. I'm going to cut a 1-inch strip, and then I'm going to skive it down so that it folds and fits neatly into the side there. I roughed up the leather for a good bond, and so now we're going to glue in the first half, the side of our gussets. We'll stitch this up before we attach it to the second side and make this a 3-dimensional piece. Once I have this glued in and stitched, I'm going to bend up our gussets to form sort of a C. And that way, when the Leatherman slips in, it'll fit neatly in the slot. Next, all I have to do is rough up the leather here, fold it over, and glue that in. And then we're ready to stitch around the whole thing. Now that this is sewn up, all we have to do is finish the edges and install our last piece of hardware. So I'm going to take some sandpaper, I'm going to sand up the sides, and then I'm going to dye them, burnish them a little bit, and then probably put a clear edge coat on because this is more of a suede, so it'll protect the edges from moisture. And then we'll install our hardware. Once we have the edges done, all we have to do is put our snap on. And I did a little bit of red stitching there to match that, but I think we could use a little more red. So I made a little tiny pull tab, and what we're going to do is, when we put our snap in, we're going to have that tab underneath. So when it closes, you'll see a little bit of that red sticking out. And then on the side, you'll see on the side, it's not pushed all the way in, but you'll see on the side, you'll see the red knife. So all we have to do is install the snap with our pull tab, and we're done. And here is our custom case. I'm pretty psyched on it. I like that you can, if you want to put it on your belt, you can use the stock case. But if you want it something a little cooler looking, we've got our signature split ring with our logos. Those are coming soon. Pop it open. Slide the knife in. And there you go. You can see the red through the side, a little red hit on the front. When you open it, you got the little red stitching to match. I'm psyched on this. This came out really, really nice. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.